Mom, I need to tell you something, and I need you to believe me. I think Chucky did something.
Child's Play is a remake of the 1988 film, I believe, and it stars Aubrey Plaza in the remake. Essentially, there are these things called buddy dolls, and what they do is they essentially have a capability of controlling any sort of technology. Essentially, imagine what Alexa is, but in a doll form. And this boy named Andy, he ends up getting like a second-hand one for his birthday. It's sort of like a, you know, mildly broken doll from an event that happens in the opening scene of the film. Not gonna really touch on it because, you know, put two and two together, it's not really necessary. The doll is broken. And he finds out the doll has like no safety protocols, and then the doll starts becoming really protective of him and starts becoming really violent, and essentially may or may not start killing people and hurting them. Child's Play was a movie I'm relatively skeptical about. I mean, look at their banter with Toy Story 4 at the moment if you look at any of their posters, and they never really showed Chucky in any of the marketing campaign. You saw like a silhouette of him and he's on the poster for a little bit. You just saw mayhem was going on that he was involved with. You did not get to see Chucky. And one thing I was mightily impressed by this movie, that the route that they didn't take, thankfully, was they went for a really practical for Chucky for the entire film, for 99% of the entire film. Like, for a very large portion, he just seemed very he was obviously a real doll that was an animatronic, and there was, you know, voices coming up voiced by Mark Hamill, but he was doing an excellent job being Chucky. And when Chucky starts doing violent things, that's when it becomes very chilling, because, you know, he's a doll. That's like a real thing. That's what makes it more chilling, most chilling and most scary when you're looking at the entire, you know, when you're looking at the actions that he's performing. And Mark Hamill's voiceover was fine. I haven't seen the original, any of the other movies, so saying that like it didn't follow up the character well or it wasn't well suited, I can't really say, but he does a fine job. Boy who plays Andy, Gabriel Bateman, he does a fine job as well. The way he's able to convey fear on screen, really important in a horror movie. He really nails it. He does a good job. With the other dramatic stuff, it sort of looks like, did they just sort of, you know, apply like eye drops and then wave the magic wand that makes like the people cry? That's an actual thing. Don't worry about it. I'm not making that up for a joke. Although if I was, wouldn't be that hard. When horror scenes happen in the film, some tension is actually there. Although not a whole lot. It takes a really long time for them to actually get to any horror scenes. It may take like the better part. The movie's like 90 minutes flat, 5 minutes for credits. We're doing this math thing again, right? And I don't know, you might not get your first horror thing till like 40 minutes. 35, 40 minutes. That's when the first real horror scene is like one half a scene thing where it might happen at like the 20-minute mark. That's not, you know, is sort of chilling for why it's there, but it's not a whole lot but you know, it's more of like a blink and you miss it sort of scene. I wouldn't say it's highly integral to the plot. But one thing that I was really surprised by Child's Play was that it was funny. I didn't expect for it to have so many jokes. I didn't expect for them to land so often. But they really did. They did a great job with the humor, and I think they nailed it really well. Unfortunately, some things that do take me out of the movie was Aubrey Plaza felt like she was really miscast, and that for the rest of the characters in the film, all of them are pretty cliche. None of them really truly stand out amongst the rest. And two more things. Jump scares in this movie. I don't know why people are still deciding jump scares are a good thing. Like, there's literally a shot where it's just like, there's an empty box on the table. What does that mean? And then Aubrey Plaza walks in, like cutting half the frame, and it's like, and I just sat there going, oh shit, that's Aubrey Plaza's hip. That is scary stuff. Height of horror. The Exorcist, Conjuring, but then there's Aubrey Plaza's hip. And the other thing is that the CGI dolls that appear like in the, essentially like the last 15 minutes of the film, there are CGI dolls that appear, they look awful. Like, they just look so cheesy and fake that really takes you out of the movie going like, now Chucky has not moved like that for the entire film. And you're supposed to show me that he's incredibly agile and quick, and by lunging at people? No chance. No chance at all. And this movie doesn't even feel like that much of a horror movie. It feels like more of a coming of age movie with little horror scenes sprinkled in, sort of the way like It was. But It was very clearly a horror movie because it set itself up as horror from the get-go. This movie set itself up as a coming of age movie with horror rather than a horror with coming of age. So I will say that Child's Play is an overnight rental. Have you seen Child's Play? What did you think of it? Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to become the Platypus, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye. Wait, sorry. Bye. Well done. done, you made it to the end of the video. Why don't you click on one of these two videos for more content, or subscribe, so just be reminded of when I upload, so you know, subscribe. That'd be great.